Welcome back to A Valiant Effort. I'm Ted.
I'm Nick.
I'm Josh.
And we're driving a 2018 Honda Ridgeline. Sorry. So, Nick, I know that the Tacoma wasn't your favorite truck in the world because you thought it had a lot of negatives for sort of a daily driver type vehicle. Do you like this better, this Ridgeline?
I do. So far, the short little stints we've been driving, I just think it's a much better all-around vehicle if you wanted something to daily drive. I think, personally, the only negative, if you were looking for a truck in this segment, would be you're not going to tow as much with this, but I just think every other aspect so far has been better.
Yeah, because it's what, max on these is 5,000 pounds, and on your truck, Josh, is 68,
yes.
Nearly 7. So
yeah,
about a ton difference, which does add up. But
yeah. I think it accelerates just fine. Granted, it is the slowest vehicle we've done 20 to 60, but it's also to be expected.
Right. Yeah, and I do think at least I noted, and I don't know how you guys feel, but this does feel like it has a bit more power low down compared to the Tacoma, but up top it definitely seems to lack compared to it.
I think it has that usable power band, where the Tacoma you really had to get up into the revs, which is exactly what you want for something that you are going to daily drive. I think comfort-wise, it's in terms of daily driving, it is overall more comfortable, but the seats aren't really that much better. They're still just kind of your typical bench seat, I think.
Yeah,
they're the truck van SUV seat. Like,
I think compared to the Tacoma, maybe they're a little bit more plush just because they're leather and a little more. I mean, this is based on a Honda Pilot as opposed to being a body-on-frame truck, so you are naturally going to have kind of everything be a bit more geared towards comfort compared to the Tacoma, which is kind of a purpose-built vehicle.
Yeah, and I think it's actually almost most noticeable on the highway.
Yeah, it's quiet.
It is
very quiet.
I'm getting Honda Odyssey vibes in here right now because we didn't know when we were driving the Tacoma. It was like, wow, it's really hard to hear in the back.
Yeah.
We could barely hear each other talk. Now that's fine because that's a different type of thing. But if you're looking for something to drive and commute to work in, this is going to offer, I think, a better experience for you.
Yeah, I mean, not that I'd ever buy this, but I'm not opposed to driving it.
Yeah,
the transmission's been fine. It's not a dual clutch, right, or anything crazy. It's
just torque converter.
Yeah, and you feel it, but it's nothing. I think they've come so far. It's negligible.
They're all fine now.
Yeah,
it doesn't hamper the engine in a way where you're like, oh God, I wish I had something different.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And if you just put your foot down, it shifts quick enough.
Yeah. Sorry, Josh.
Mileage-wise, the transmission does a pretty decent job. I mean, this weighs more than my Tacoma.
Yeah.
And you're getting about the same fuel economy on average.
This is a lot better.
This is rated at 1926, and I guess a lot of people get
this is way better.
I'm just looking at what we're getting.
Well,
but we've only been towing around back roads, kind of not driving it the way someone probably would. But the highway is the biggest difference in this. Because highway, you're up to 24, 26.
You're definitely looking at some fuel savings, I'd say.
Yeah, I think the biggest cause is this does actually have SUV tires, which I'm sure makes a big difference.
Yeah,
and it's probably why it's so much quieter.
Yeah,
it very well could be.
Yeah, I think one other important thing to note if you are going to daily drive this and you're not coming from already an SUV, the electronic steering on this, I feel like you can feel it more.
Yeah, it's a little bit
It's like you're ahead of it.
It's kind of chunky. I don't know. Like
Yeah,
you
it's
can
like
kind of
grainy.
feel the servo or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it is.
almost like there's some sand stuck in there.
It's kind of funky.
It's not as
and it's
smooth.
It's not, and it's more noticeable when you're kind of just like you're going around maybe an S curve, like a hard corner. I don't think you notice it as
Right.
much. But it's kind of just like on the light stuff. I don't know. It just feels kind of like
Jittery.
I
Yeah.
noticed it at the drive-through. That was when I was feeling it the most.
Yeah.
It was
I
very,
almost
like,
wonder if it has something to do with kind of the automated systems this has.
yeah, which I've actually turned fully off because I couldn't stand them.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
got the lane departure sensors and warnings.
and lane keep assist.
Lane keep assist when you're when you're going faster, right?
I believe it was 45 minimum or something.
45 to 90, I think.
Yeah.
It didn't have anything to do with cruise control.
No.
It has adaptive cruise control. We have not tested that. But the lane keeping assist was kind of weird.
Yeah.
The lane departure warning is kind of like it.
It worked sometimes.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
works sometimes, not all the time.
And one time it told me I was out of a lane because of a row of bumps on the
Yeah,
road.
so maybe there's some. Hopefully, in the last couple of years, that's been updated a little bit.
Yeah.
Programming has gotten better on that, but
Yeah. I think we're all of the opinion that if you need to use those all the time, maybe you just shouldn't drive.
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe you shouldn't have a license. The 2018 Honda Ridgeline, despite its 3.5-liter VTEC V6, isn't exactly a performance monster, but it's competent enough despite a few complaints we had. Where it really shines is what it offers in terms of comfort over its midsize truck competitors. All right, so 2018 Ridgeline interior. What do you like, Josh?
Well, I do like.
That was Nick's impression of a Mustang.
Yeah. So right off the bat, I do like how comfortable it is. I think that might come partially from the trim level. Ted, you were saying this is
This is an RTL-E, so it's essentially the top trim level. There is a black edition above that, but of the normal trim levels, this is the top.
and that brings in the leather. It brings in probably some infotainment stuff, I would assume. Maybe
Yeah.
upgraded speaker pack. I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll get back to you on
Yeah.
whether or not Apple CarPlay is included in the lower trims, and we'll put it up here.
Or down
One thing
here.
I noticed immediately upon driving this truck is that there is no needle speedometer.
Yeah.
There is only a digital readout of your speed, and that is the only thing available, and it's the same digital readout that was in a friend of mine's Honda Accord from like
08 or something.
yeah, like
Yeah.
in college I remember Matt's
I know the
Honda
one you're
Accord
talking
had that.
about.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Yeah.
why have we not updated that at all?
But either way, I wonder why they included the digital one that looks like an alarm clock. It's very old looking.
Right.
Which is kind of in contrast to the nice resolution on the two screens.
Mm-hmm.
Small though the center gauge cluster screen is, it still looks pretty nice.
And it has all the usable information that you need, which is nice. I will say the steering wheel is very busy. It has what, 20 buttons
21.
we counted? 21 buttons.
Including the horn.
And the heated steering wheel button.
Yeah, I do like where the heated steering wheel button is though.
It's nice. It's got a good placement, almost like those toggle switches you were saying you were missing
Yeah.
on the back end of the steering wheel.
Yeah.
But there's a lot.
I feel like it's a lot of useless stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the only thing I would use cruise control and volume because
No knobs.
brings us to this is a knobless car.
Knobless.
And not only that, and I know people have said this in review after review about this particular year or two of Honda where they had this slider, but it sucks. It's not good.
It's terrible.
It's just like I don't know what they were thinking when
Well,
they
and
put
that's
that in.
why I think didn't they bring it back?
They did, yeah. I think in
The knob, at
19 or 20 they brought back the knobs. Certainly in the Accords and Civics. We'll have to double check about the Ridgeline, but
I'm not opposed to it. I think it's just that it's not as responsive as it should be to use that technology.
yeah, that's a good because there is good screen operated volume control It's just that this isn't that. It's not a knob, and it's not a well done version of it in the infotainment. Because to do it, it's like. And also, I think one thing we noticed about the infotainment screen is that you really have to give it a good press. You can't just kind of lightly touch.
Less
or press and hold, kind of.
Yeah, like I literally had to hold my finger down on there.
And so if you're just the driver and you're trying to adjust something on screen, it's going to be a little bit more difficult.
You have to focus on it. Yeah.
And I think it takes a lot of your focus from the road.
And I think that's unfortunate because it takes away from an otherwise very nice interior, and the climate controls are very functional, easy to use.
Even though they are knobless, they have toggle switches.
Yeah, toggle switches are fine.
Which are just as good, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They're analog.
Easy to use. The heated seat buttons right in the middle here.
Although you said
nice.
Those are basically the same ones that are in your Honda.
They're the same ones from the Honda of this era that are actually in others. They're down here. So I do think it's funny to see them just moved up. But it's a nice position for them.
And I will say, as far as the analog buttons go, there are a lot of them in this truck. And most of them are fairly usable. You have a lot going on down here by the left driver knee. And that's where your traction control, your lane departure warnings, your parking assists, your cargo lights,
your eco button,
all of that sort of stuff is down there. And but they're almost, I like that there are buttons for those things. I like that you don't necessarily have to go digging into the infotainment for them to shut off the lane departure warnings, the parking assists.
Well, especially because, as we talked about, they're not great. The assists aren't very. They're a little wonky.
Yeah, they're not the best features.
It's nice to be able to easily turn them off when you get in the car.
Josh, what do you think about the steering wheel position? I know one of our biggest pet peeves is we don't like to move people's steering wheels if it's manual because you can't really get it. It's just really hard to get it back. So, granted, we didn't move it, but I find it really hard to put my hands where I want them.
Well, and we did try to telescope it to see if it came out at all.
Yeah.
And it does not telescope.
Just up and
Which
down.
I think is something important to note, that it just goes up and down. And I like it. It's a smaller steering wheel than the Tacoma, which I like because it offers you a little bit more legroom to get in and out.
Well, you can also lower the seat in this.
Yes, and the seat has all the functionality of any modern day electronic seat, which is amazing. But you're right, it is
you can't do the arm on the window.
The pillars are wide, the arm on the window is a little far. It's too far over for me. You basically have to do arm on the armrest, which I know you were saying the door armrests are very
padded.
plush and they're padded, which is nice.
Also, arm on the windowsill these days is hard because all cars, the belt line has risen for safety purposes, so that's kind of just like a thing of the past now.
Yeah, which saddens me greatly.
Yeah.
I think I'd take the compromise.
To not die?
No, to have the armrest.
He wants the armrest.
Oh, you want to die? Okay.
I know you really like, Ted, the fact that we have the individual armrests in the center here instead of doing a center console armrest, because that does open a lot of space for the center console.
Yeah, this area here is freaking huge, and it's tremendous.
You did have a complaint, if I remember.
So my complaint is only as the driver, because right now this armrest is perfect. I feel very comfortable. I have plenty of space for my arm, but when my hand is on the wheel, I don't think that the armrest is long enough, and I don't have long arms. I'm not a big person, so it's just like my elbow has to sit on the end of the armrest.
If you want the 10 and 2,
well,
or even the 9 and 3, you can't. You have to drop this down to like a 5 o'clock position to get the armrest. And
that's a small little nitpick, but it is something.
I mean, it's small, but it's literally what you touch the entire time you drive.
Right.
True. So yeah, that bothers me a little bit, but
I will say, one thing that I know we all agreed was very nice about this truck was the placement and the styling of the start-stop button.
Yeah, it's very premium looking.
It's a nice button. It lights up when you press it and when it's active. And I love the fact that I think it's farther out away from the steering wheel than anything we've driven so far.
But I do like there's some where they're literally next to the steering column.
Right. And it's almost like where you used to put a key.
Yeah.
And so you can't see it when you get in the car. This one you can see visibly when you get in the car. But other than that, I think it's pretty...
I like that
nice
the heated steering wheel actually is heated all the way around.
Right.
That's nice.
It's
so
a
if
useful feature.
Yeah, so if you're like, my dad likes to drive 6.
Yeah.
And that he'll still have a nice warm hand.
There's not a great 6 o'clock position on this because of the 4-spoke nonsense.
Just the design.
Yeah. But so for people other than Ted's dad, it's probably okay.
Yeah. Oh, I like the little tweeters on the A-pillars there.
The audio
nice
is pretty. It's a solid audio system in this truck. Aside from the infotainment lacking certain things.
But it does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
It does, as a 2018.
Right.
Oh, and interior headlights. I mean, LED lights.
Yeah.
It does have interior LED lights, so Nick is very excited about that.
Yeah.
Big doings.
Also, in lighting, it has footwell lights, and it has little lights in the door that display down into the door pockets.
That I
at
like.
Night.
I think overall, the interior it's a really nice place to be, and I think,
and it's comfortable.
Yeah.
Very comfortable, yeah.
And it's quiet.
It's got everything you'd want.
And yeah, there's not lacking much. I know it does have a real sunroof shade. Very nice.
Oh, yeah.
Completely blocks out the sun.
Very easy to move as well.
And sliders.
Very utilitarian.
Yeah. I will say, too, that, if you're looking for, like kind of that low-level truck usage, throwing stuff in the bed, but you want an interior from, a standard family SUV, it's your only option.
Yeah. You had a complaint about the back seat, but you said that was probably because you were tall.
Yeah. It's a little uncomfortable for me because with the door, the doors have these really nice pocket or.
I will say Ted is swimming in legroom.
Yeah.
With his knees to the dash, wise.
Yeah.
So
it might make it a little bit better.
That might have something to do with it.
But my knee, oh yeah, it definitely helps a lot. Yeah. But
I moved up 4 inches there, and I still have plenty of room.
If you have 4 adults over 6 feet tall that are in this car, the back, your legs will dig into the cup holders.
If you want a truck, but you only actually use a truck 5% of the time, get a Ridgeline. It can carry a couch and tow a light trailer, but it can also carry you and your family comfortably. It's a family SUV with a bed.
So I think it's a good-looking truck. I think its best angle is from the back. I think the front, so the new one came out recently, the new design, the kind of refresh, and it does look more like a truck, more trucky, but I don't know if I like it more than this. I kind of think the fact that this basically has a Honda Pilot front end makes it kind of interesting.
When I like the fact that it's not trying to be a truck, but I like this one. I do really like this exterior.
And we were saying we like the kind of the belt line down the side.
Yeah.
On the same level as the door handles. It looks nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think on the road, if you see them, they're kind of like not really that good looking. But when you really start to look at it, it's not that bad.
Whatever the opinion is on how it looks, I think this truck makes up for it in usable, more exterior features.
Yeah. So I think... So Josh and I were at a little gathering over the summer after the owner of this truck bought it. And there are speakers in the bed. Am I right about that?
Yep, there are bed speakers.
Speakers in the bed. So you can play music from this truck for hours. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to worry about the battery dying because when the truck senses that it's at a certain level, it just shuts off the speakers.
Yeah. And the cool thing about it is that you can use any radio that you've got, CDs, whatever, but you can also use your phone. So you can Bluetooth your phone and use this truck basically as a giant boombox or Bluetooth speaker for your phone.
And I thought it sounded good, and it lasted like 3.5, 4 hours before the battery
was like, nope, we're cutting off now.
Yeah. And that's really cool. Another thing to mention is the fact that you have a trunk.
Yeah.
You have a bed, but you also have a trunk. And right now there is a golf bag, a chair.
At least 2 chairs.
There's a few chairs and a bunch of other stuff. It's very deep.
I know at one point we fit 3 golf bags into it.
Yeah.
While we were going to the course. And it is, I believe, it is waterproof.
Yep, watertight.
And
like any trunk.
or watertight, yep. And it does have a drain plug in the bottom. So one of the advertised uses is that you can use it as a cooler if you're going camping or anything like that, or going to a picnic.
It's pretty freaking sweet.
I really like the concept.
Yeah, this truck has so many cool little things that you can use. So there's a lot of nice little things you can do to just maximize the space that you have in this.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
One thing I really do want to bring up right now that people who are watching this won't have seen the Tacoma video, so they won't see how negative I was about it. About the functionality is something that you're going to daily drive. And I was actually wearing a different shirt, but, you know, so this isn't the only thing I own. But, like, this car just all around is something that you would daily drive and have the usability of a truck that I think, I don't know, like, I think 8 out of 10 people that are buying a Tacoma aren't using the truck functions.
Yeah.
They're not towing, they're not doing this and that. And if you want a truck to put stuff in the bed and you absolutely are not going to tow, or maybe you're towing a jet ski, this is perfect. I still wouldn't buy one, but I think if I needed like kind of a...
And at the price point, it's not bad.
So, you know, I think new to new, this is going to be more than a normal Tacoma. And part of the problem is that the Tacoma, you can't get the 4-cylinder, you can get just a normal 2-door, where this only comes in this configuration
with the V6 and the double cab.
Right. But I mean, and you know, we've talked about it where these lose value compared to a Tacoma. But what is this used when you were looking them up?
So just to give price comparison, new as spec, this trim is like 42, 43. Used, you can find ones with 20, 30,000 miles for like 32, 33.
And Josh, you were looking up Tacomas recently to maybe upgrade, and this is about what you kind of want. And what was it on the Tacoma, like 39 to 42?
Yeah, I was looking at about 38 and a half, 39 for my package, and it had basically all these features: the leather, the bed lights.
And to get an equivalent used like 2-year-old Tacoma with the same features, you can almost safely subtract no more than $4,000 from the original value.
Yeah,
I would say you're looking at probably 36.
Because they just hold their value like nothing else.
Yeah, this has the off-road capabilities of a gravel bike compared to like a true mountain bike. You can dabble, but no rocks, no logs, no.
It's like you could take this on a trail, going to a campground, stuff
exactly.
like that.
Right. Yeah, be very comfortable.
Yeah,
and not like go 5 miles an hour and like that's a stick.
Yeah,
it's not the S4.
Yeah, and speaking of kind of used value and everything, this is one of those vehicles like the Tacoma where there's not much to worry about as they get older. I mean, this is the venerable Honda J35. It's in everything and everywhere, and it's been around for 20 years, and it does the job. And you can put 200,000 miles on this and probably not have a huge amount of headache. So you don't necessarily have to be in the market for a truck to want a Honda Ridgeline. It can be a truck, albeit not the best out there, but it can also be a comfortable daily commuter, a lifestyle vehicle, and with its probable reliability, something you keep on the road for 10 years. A Honda Ridgeline is a jack of all trades and master of none. But just because you aren't a master doesn't mean you aren't really, really good. Hey, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more DIY videos, car reviews, and an upcoming podcast. See you next time. Welcome back to A Valiant Effort. Do you need to stop? Think about dead puppies or something for a second?
Oh, man.
All right.
Okay, go.